Hello, it's Leontine from Little Lovely Crafts. Welcome to day 6 of my Halloween card series. In today's card I'm showing a fun magic picture changer with a little surprise on the inside. It was a busy week, so I'm a little later than usual, but I hope you will still like the video. I already stamped most of the images I'm going to use and I traced the magic picture changer dies. I used a little frame from Den Sweet Den and I wiped off the words so I could stamp the little bat and the spider from Tiny Halloween Stamps. As for the ghost, I want to make a mirror on the wall, so I used the moon and I am masking off the bottom of the moon so I can stamp a ghost on there. So it sort of looks like there's a ghost appearing when you pull the magic picture changer tab. And I already stamped that little speech bubble Boo from Booyah. Here you see most of the parts I'm going to use for my card. I used a large stitch rectangle stackables with some Lawn Fawn white cardstock. I used the Fall Fling paper pack to make a nice border around it or behind it. Those are all of the images I'm going to use on the outside, and of course the magic picture changer parts I'm going to use. Now I'm showing you that I'm ink blending my piece horizontally. Actually, later on in the video, I decided that it was much better to use it vertically, because then my scene fits in more nicely with the whole fireplace and the rug. So I kept this part in the video because I wanted to show you how I inked my panel. And I'm not going to throw this one away because I'm going to use it on the inside of my card later on. To stick with the Lawn Fawnatics colors, I am going with worn lipstick and some tattered rose and scattered straw. And as usual, I'm using my liquid stardust mixed with water mixture to splatter some drops on the cardstock and then pick it up with a paper towel. I'm going to use the same ink on my magic picture changer parts, and I wanted to mask off my little mirror so I can use Copic colors later on. And I'm using a full stick post-it note. I actually attached it to a piece of scrap paper, ran it through my die cut machine with the die from that little moon, peeled it off again from that scrap paper and placed it onto my magic picture changer part. I tried to hold the piece into the light so I could see the already stamped lines and line it up with my post-it note. It was a little bit difficult to get it on there perfectly because the moon isn't a perfect circle, but I tried my best and I just have to work with what I got. I used some add-on pieces from the magic picture changer because I thought I was gonna use it on top of the card like a traditional way to use it, but in the end I went with a completely different design. I did, however, use all of these pieces, so you're gonna need them anyway. Before I can assemble my magic picture changer, I need to color my moon and my ghost. I'm using Copic sketch markers and you can see the colors because I'm placing my cap on my work surface. And I heard myself say moon, but of course I'm making a mirror. I'm assembling my magic picture changer now, and I'm trying it a few times to see if it runs smoothly. I'm adding a little bit of my anti-static powder because sometimes that helps. I still think that I glued my tabs a little bit too tight so that my inside piece doesn't have a lot of wiggle room, but with the right angle it still works, luckily. Because I don't have a lot of time this week, I'm not going to show you everything that I'm going to color for this card. I'm just going to show you my fireplace, that little pumpkin basket, and one of the bears, so you know which colors I used for them. So with all of my pieces die cut, I found out that in a horizontal way I couldn't fit everything in. So I decided to go with a vertical piece, and I wanted to make it sort of hide in the background more. And I found this little square from my scalloped box card pop-up, and it was a perfect fit to go around my magic picture changer square. So I die cut it from a new piece of Lawn Fawn white cardstock, and you can see how I got it to be in the exact spot where I need it to be. And then I just inked it up like I did before, used some liquid stardust mixture, and then I can just assemble my entire piece. With that magic picture changer on the back, I'm going to use some foam squares to make everything level, and I'm using 2mm thick foam squares to do the trick, and then I can attach it to my little green fall fling paper. I am making sure not to glue my fireplace too high because I want some room left to add my decorations on top of the mantle. Once that is attached, I can work on the front of my card, which is only just adding all of the elements that I die cut and colored. And I'm using mostly liquid glue, but on some of the stamps I wanted to lift them up a bit, so I'm using 1 mm thick foam squares. It might be good to mention that I am not gluing my clock and candle and candy bowl onto my magic picture changer, because then of course you'll be blocking the whole interactive element of the card. I left the top of my card blank so I could fit a sentiment on there, and I decided to go with some fancy wavy banners and the sentiment trick or treat. And I used some noble fur cardstock, and then I used some black embossing powder to heat emboss the sentiment on it. I'm making the edges a little more spooky by using Pine Needles Distress ink. I used a little bit too much in the beginning there, but I hope no one's going to notice. I'm using liquid glue on the outside of my banner and thin foam squares on the middle part of my banner, and I'm making sure that it isn't touching my magic picture changer element. Now I'm adding it to a white card base, and that is where I got the idea to do something on the inside of the card as well. So remember that horizontal piece from the beginning of the video? I'm using my large stitched rectangle stackables again, but I'm trying to make a sort of square piece out of it because the square dies that I have from Lawn Fawn don't really fit with the size that I'm going for. So this was the more logical option. And then I'm going to recreate the whole scene from the front, but I'm going to leave out Mommy Bear, and the two little bears are secretly climbing on top of each other to get to the bowl of candies, and he has managed to get one out, which I think is really funny and cute. And even though I am attaching them on the inside of my card, I'm using my thin foam squares to lift them up just a little bit to make them stand out a little bit more. And off camera I did something really spooky. I added a sentiment while it was attached to the card already, and and it didn't go exactly as I hoped it would go, but you can still read the sentiment. I just really wanted to add the treats of course stamp, because that just ties in the entire scene that I created. So on the front you ask trick or treat, and on the inside you can see that those little bears definitely say treats of course, because they are grabbing a little treat from that bowl. And that finishes up my card, and luckily I was able to finish my video on Friday. Yay! Thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next week with another card. Until then, have a wonderful weekend and happy crafting. Bye!